Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you work, you're always broke? Like the system is designed to keep you in debt, chasing money that disappears the moment you touch it? What if I told you some people believe that's exactly what's happening? Welcome to the Budget Boss US, where we don't just talk about your wallet, we talk about who's really reaching into it. In this video, we dive into the conspiracy theories of 2025, from secret financial puppeteers to digital currency takeovers, and ask, is financial control real or just another distraction? But more importantly, Part 1, the elite controlling the economy. There's a theory that never really goes away, and in 2025 it's making a comeback, that the economy isn't chaotic at all. It's not random, it's rigged. That recessions, inflation, even job markets, they don't just happen. They're engineered by who? A small club, the 1% global financial elites. Some say it's Wall Street. Others point fingers at the IMF, the World Economic Forum, or central banks. But the central claim is simple: they win when you lose. The core of the theory. This theory claims that a handful of investment giants and powerful families have enough leverage to shape global finance. Not influence it, control it. Let's break it down. Who are they in this theory? Mega investment firms like BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, who collectively manage over $20 trillion. Central banks like the U.S. Federal Reserve, the European Central Bank. And behind the curtain, supposedly, families like the Rothschilds or Rockefellers. Yes, these names come up a lot. They say these players don't just respond to markets, they create them. They don't just predict the 2008 crisis, mistake or master plan. Visual, flashback to 2008, real estate signs flipping to foreclosure, crowded unemployment offices, headlines screaming bailout. Let's talk about 2008, because it's Exhibit A in this conspiracy courtroom. Wall Street banks handed out subprime mortgages like candy, knowing full well they were ticking time bombs. When the bombs went off, millions lost their homes, their jobs, their savings. Meanwhile, Goldman Sachs got bonuses. AIG got bailout out. Executives walked away richer. So people ask, was that just greed and negligence, or was it intentional? Did they crash the system to consolidate wealth while Main Street drowned? Even major players bet against the same financial products they sold to regular investors. It's like a chef feeding you rotten food and making money from your hospital bill. Who actually controls the economy? Let's zoom out from conspiracy and ask a tougher question. Is it even possible for a small group to control something as massive as the U.S. economy? There are 330 million Americans, over 5,000 banks, millions of small businesses, thousands of variables moving every hour. The market is like weather. You can influence it, but you can't control it. Even the Federal Reserve, which sets interest rates and prints money, operates through committees, publishes minutes, and is overseen by Congress. But here's the thing. Influence is not a conspiracy, it's reality. While no one has total control, the elite do have disproportionate influence. And that's where things get murky. Lobbying money. In 2023 alone, the financial industry spent over $700 million lobbying Congress. Revolving doors. Former executives from Goldman Sachs, Citigroup, and J.P. Morgan often move into high-level government positions, then go back to Wall Street. Policy shaping. Billionaire donors fund political campaigns, think tanks, and media outlets that shape what policies even get debated. So maybe they're not pulling strings from us. Who benefits when you struggle? Let's make this personal. Inflation eats away your savings while banks charge more for loans. Student debt balloons while education gets more expensive and less useful. Credit cards offer rewards, but trap millions in 20% APR cycles. Every system has winners and losers, and in our system, losing is often profitable, just not for you. So even if there's no mastermind behind the curtain, there's definitely a machine that's been built to funnel money upward. And it runs on your confusion, your fear, and your financial illiteracy. The what-if thought. What if none of this is by accident? What if the rules are written to sound complicated? So most people give up before they understand them. What if being stuck in debt, in paycheck-to-paycheck cycles, isn't a bug in the system, but the business model? But let's stay grounded. It's easy to go too far down the rabbit hole, blame everything on a cabal of rich villains, but life is more complex. Markets crash because of cycles, greed, fear, human behavior as much as institutional power. The truth is often messier than a Hollywood plot. Still, The result is the same. Wealth moves up, regular folks stay down, and the ones who know the game keep winning it. The real takeaway. Whether you believe in the conspiracy or not, one thing is clear. The system isn't designed to teach. Let's talk about something a little darker. Something that sounds like it came out of a spy novel. But to millions of Americans in 2025, it's more real than fiction. The belief that our government, the very institutions meant to protect us, is actually controlled by forces we don't vote for and may never even see. Call it a shadow government. Call it the deep state. Call it whatever you want. But the central claim is chilling. The U.S. government, especially the people in charge of your money, may not be working for you. What they say, the puppet theory. According to this theory, the president is just a figurehead. Congress, just noise. The real power lies with a network of unelected officials, intelligence agencies, central bankers, and private interests. They don't campaign. They don't debate, they don't show up at town halls, but somehow they decide everything. Target 1, the Federal Reserve. The Fed controls interest rates, money supply, inflation. It's the beating heart of the U.S. economy. Yet it's not part of the federal government. It's technically a private entity with public oversight. Board members are appointed, not elected. Meetings happen behind closed doors. Markets move the moment the Fed whispers a word. For conspiracy theorists, the Fed is the ultimate wizard behind the curtain, pulling levers without ever standing for election. History has shadows, too. This theory isn't totally new. Back in the 1960s and 70s, people feared the CIA had more power than the president. In 2003, weapons of mass destruction that never existed led to trillion-dollar wars. In 2008, unelected bankers got trillions. The revolving door, Wall Street, Washington. One of the most suspicious patterns, the career path between government and megabanks. Real examples, Henry Paulson, CEO of Goldman Sachs, Right Arrow U.S. Treasury Secretary during the 2008 crisis. Stephen M. Mnuchin, Goldman Sachs Right Arrow Treasury Secretary under Trump. Neil Kashkari, Goldman, then head of the Fed's Minneapolis branch. If your boss used to run the bank you're supposed to regulate, who are you really protecting, the people or the profits? What if the system isn't broken, it's working exactly as designed? Here's the dangerous thought, the one that keeps people up at night. What if this isn't corruption? What if this is the system working as intended, just not for us? Because think about it, tax loopholes that benefit billionaires, still there. No jail time for 2008 Wall Street fraud, still true. Student loan interest, still compounds daily. Minimum wage versus CEO pay gap, wider than ever. It's not just a few bad apples, it's the orchard. How does this impact you? You might be wondering, okay, maybe there's shady stuff going on at the top, but what does that have to do with me and my paycheck? Here's how. 1. Inflation isn't an accident. When the Fed prints trillions, asset prices go up. Who owns assets? The rich. Who doesn't? Most Americans. So while you pay $6 for eggs, billionaires see their stock portfolios soar. 2. Debt is the design. The government borrows from the Fed. You borrow from banks. Everyone's in debt, but only the top earns interest. In 2025, U.S. credit card debt hit a record high, over $3 trillion. Average APRA, 21.6%. The longer you stay in debt, the richer the lenders become. 3. Control through confusion. Tax code equals 6,000 plus pages. Financial literacy equals not taught in most schools. Student loans, easy to get, impossible to escape. If you don't understand the rules, how can you ever win the game? Counterpoint, let's not lose the plot. Now let's hit pause. It's easy to blame everything on shadowy elites. But not every complex problem has a puppet master behind it. The truth is, the U.S. has checks and balances. The Fed publishes reports, it's audited. Congress can overrule many decisions. And voters still decide who gets the final word. But here's the twist. Just because there's no evil genius doesn't mean the outcomes aren't deeply unfair. And when fairness disappears, so does trust. What can you actually do about it? You can't control the Fed, you can't rewrite the tax code, but you can take control of your own financial house. White heavy checkmark step 1. Read between the headlines. Don't just accept what the media says. Look for sources that challenge each other. White heavy checkmark step 2. Follow the money. Ask who profits from this policy, who gets left behind. White heavy checkmark step 3. Make personal finance political. Vote for policies that support fair wages, transparency, and financial education. Push for debt reform and investment in financial literacy. White heavy checkmark step 4. Build resilience. The best protection against instability is control over your own income, savings, and debt. Final thought. Whether there's a hidden hand or just a broken machine, the result is the same. You feel powerless, but you're not. Every dollar you save, every debt you crush, every lesson you learn is a vote against that system. Part 3. Crypto, liberation, or a new form of control. Once hailed as the people's money, cryptocurrency promised freedom. Freedom from banks, freedom from inflation, freedom from control. But in 2025, that promise is under fire. And a new theory has emerged, one that flips the crypto revolution on its head. What if crypto was never about liberation? What if it was the original dream? Let's rewind to 2009. A mysterious figure named Satoshi Nakamoto released the Bitcoin white paper right after the 2008 financial collapse. The message was clear. You can't trust governments or banks to protect your money. So here's a new system, transparent, decentralized, and untouchable by Wall Street. Core principles: no middlemen, no inflation by decree, peer-to-peer transactions. Financial sovereignty. Crypto wasn't just code, it was a rebellion. But here comes the what if. What if the rebellion was allowed, even encouraged, because it served a larger purpose? The theory goes something like this. 1. Get people excited about digital assets. 2. Get them used to living online, wallets, apps, scanning codes. 3. Then replace decentralized crypto with centralized digital money with total visibility and control. A bait-and switch. You think you're escaping the system. But the system was just changing its clothes. Central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, the real endgame. Across the world, governments are rolling out what they call CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. It's not Bitcoin, it's not Ethereum. It's programmable government money directly issued by the central bank, and it's coming fast. In the US, the Fed is researching a digital dollar. It's marketed as faster, cheaper, more secure. But critics say it could become the ultimate surveillance tool. Potential features that sound great until they don't: instant stimulus payments, automatic tax refunds, expiration dates on money to stimulate spending, restricting certain purchases, e.g. no junk food, alcohol, crypto. With CBDCs, your wallet becomes a remote control, and you're not the one holding it. What happens to privacy? In cash society, your spending is private. In crypto, your spending is public but anonymous. In a CBDC world, every purchase, every dollar you move could be logged, tracked, and potentially blocked. Example scenario: protest too loudly, account frozen, post dangerous content online, spending limited, travel to the wrong place, transactions denied. Sound far-fetched? Ask citizens in China, where the digital yuan is tied to their social credit score. Or in Canada, where trucker protesters saw their bank accounts frozen without trial. Not your keys, not your coins. Here's where it gets personal. Most people today hold crypto on apps like Coinbase, Robinhood, or PayPal. But guess what? You don't own that crypto, they do. If they go down, so does your balance. If the government orders them to freeze your funds, they can. And they have. Reminders: in 2022, Canadian crypto exchanges were forced to freeze accounts of protesters. In the US, the SEC crypto scams and market manipulation. Crypto was supposed to level the playing field. Instead, 2022-2024 brought wave after wave of crashes, rug pulls, and billion-dollar fraud. Examples: FTX collapse, over $8 billion in customer funds gone. Luna/Ust, $40 billion wiped out in a week. Meme coin pump and dumps, leaving retail investors broke while insiders cashed out. Decentralization didn't stop greed. It just moved it to new platforms, often with zero regulation. So is crypto dead? No, the technology is revolutionary. But the promise of freedom only holds if you understand how to use it. How to stay free in a digital world. Own your keys, use hardware wallets like Ledger Trezor. Don't store large amounts on exchanges. Learn the tech. Understand how blockchain works, not just TikTok hype. Know the difference between Bitcoin, Ethereum, CBDCs, and stablecoins. Think long-term, don't chase coins for fast profit. Look for projects with real utility and decentralized governance. Diversify beyond crypto. Crypto is powerful, but it's not a plan. Build savings, real assets, and income streams too. Final thought: Crypto can be a weapon or a leash, a tool of liberation or surveillance. It all depends on who controls the code and how you choose to use it. Because here's part 4, the real threat, financial illiteracy. While we've been pointing fingers at Wall Street, shadow governments, and secret tech takeovers, there's a quieter threat, a far more dangerous one that doesn't need a conspiracy to work, and it's already inside your home. The real enemy of financial freedom in America is not control, it's confusion. What is financial illiteracy? Let's define it simply. Financial illiteracy is not knowing how money works. It means you don't know what APR means or how credit scores work. You don't know the difference between good debt and bad debt. You don't know how inflation eats your savings alive, or how compound interest can make you rich if used right. But here's the scary part. It's not your fault you were never taught. In school, they taught you how to find the area of a triangle. The U.S. financial education gap. Let's talk numbers. Only 23 U.S. states require high school students to take a course in personal finance as of 2024. Over 60% of adults in America report living paycheck to paycheck. 1 in 3 Americans has zero saved for retirement. The average household carries $7,951 in credit card debt, 2025 data. Nearly half of millennials don't know what a 401k is. And yet, these are the people signing mortgages, taking on student debt, filing taxes blind. Financial confusion is profitable. You know who loves financial illiteracy? Banks, lenders, credit card companies, payday loan shops, for-profit colleges. Let's break it down. If you don't know your APR, you'll pay 20% interest thinking it's normal. If you don't know how student loans work, you'll borrow $60K for a $35K a year job. If you don't understand budgeting, you'll spend 110% of your income, with your bank quietly charging overdraft fees. And every time you make a mistake, someone makes a profit. In 2023 alone, banks collected $9.9 billion in overdraft fees. The average American paid $1,000+ in credit card interest. By now, pay later platforms made record profits as users fell. Debt as a lifestyle. In America, debt isn't just a financial tool, it's a way of life. We borrow for college, cars, homes, weddings, vacations, phones, furniture, even groceries. We've normalized debt so much that saving money feels like a radical act. But here's the trick. Debt delays pain, but multiplies it later. It's the financial equivalent of eating cake for breakfast every day. It feels good until the crash comes. Why this matters more than any conspiracy. Listen all the theories we talked about earlier. Shadow elites, currency takeovers, Wall Street puppets, maybe they're true, maybe not. But here's what's definitely true. If you don't know how money works, someone else will make it work against you. This isn't about being rich, it's about being free. Free from panic every time rent is due. Free from saying yes to bad jobs because you're drowning in debt. Free from payday loans, late fees, collection calls. Financial literacy is not a luxury, it's a weapon. In a world where the system is confusing by design, knowing the rules is revolutionary. How to start reclaiming your power? You don't need a finance degree. You just need curiosity, discipline, and a little bit of rage. Rage at how they set it up, and determination to never fall for it again. Step 1, budget weekly. Use any method, apps like Mint, or you need a budget, or just Google Sheets. Track where every dollar goes, not just what you think you spent. Step 2, know your numbers. Credit score, net worth, debt-to-income ratio, minimum expenses to survive. Step 3, build your FU fund. Emergency savings, freedom from toxic jobs and last-minute desperation. Step 4, learn compound interest. It's your best friend when investing, and your worst enemy when in debt. Final thought, if there is a conspiracy, it's not that they're hiding money from you. It's that they've hidden the knowledge you need to get it yourself. Don't fall for distractions, don't wait for someone to rescue you. Learn, act, repeat. Because once you understand how the money game is really played, they can't. Part 5, how to reclaim control. Okay, so maybe the game is rigged. Maybe the rich have lobbyists, lawyers, and offshore accounts. Maybe the system isn't fair. But here's the thing nobody tells you. You don't need the system to be fair. To beat it, you just need a different playbook. And it starts with this one idea: take control where you still can. Step 1, build a financial firewall. In a digital world, cybercriminals are real. But for most of us, the biggest threat to our money Isn't hackers, it's life. You lose a job, you get sick, your car breaks down, and just like that, debt moves in. So first things first, build your firewall. Action plan. Emergency fund equals 3 months of living expenses. Start with $500, then work up. Keep it in a separate savings account, not your checking. Why it matters, it gives you space to breathe. Space equals power. You can say no to bad bosses, payday loans, toxic roommates. It's not just about money, it's about options. Step 2, master the basics most Americans ignore. You know what millionaires, retirees, and financial coaches have in common. They all do the boring stuff consistently, and that's what works. 3 habits that change everything. 1, track every dollar. Not forever, just long enough to see the truth. For 1 month, write down every expense. You'll be shocked, too. Pay yourself first. The moment your paycheck hits, move a chunk into savings or investments, even if it's $10. The habit is worth more than the amount. 3, automate everything you can. Bill payments, ERA or 401k contributions, debt payments. If you make money automatic, you remove emotion from the process, and that's when you start winning. Step 3, attack bad debt like it owes you money. Debt is the modern-day collar. It's quiet, it's legal, and it keeps you in place. Want freedom? Start here. Action plan, list every debt, balance, minimum payment, interest rate. Choose a method. O avalanche, pay off the highest interest rate first, saves most money. O snowball, pay off the smallest debt first, builds momentum. Call lenders to ask for. O lower APRA. O hardship plans. O consolidation options. You don't need shame. You need a strategy. Step 4, start investing, even if it's just 5/week. They want you scared of investing. They say it's too risky. You know what's riskier? Relying on one job until you're 70. Reality check. $100 month invested in an S&P 500 index fund equals $176,000 after 30 years, 7% return. That's with zero effort, just showing up. How to start? Use beginner-friendly apps like Fidelity, Schwab, M1 Finance, or even Acorns. Focus on index funds, not meme coins. Open a Roth IRA if you qualify, it's tax-free growth. The earlier you start, the less you need to invest. Time is your biggest ally or your worst enemy. Step 5, learn ruthlessly, filter aggressively. In the age of TikTok finance gurus and YouTube side hustle hype, it's easy to get lost. Everyone's shouting, few are making sense, so here's what you do, be your own bank, be your own teacher. Learn from books, The Psychology of Money, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Your Money or Your Life. Podcasts, Bigger Pockets, Afford Anything, Choose. Free resources, Nerd Wallet, The Budget Boss US. But filter everything through one lens. Does this make me more independent or just more addicted to the system? Step 6. Build real assets, not just appearances. Instagram says rich is Gucci. Real wealth is a paid-off car. No credit. Final shot, you versus the system. They want you confused, distracted, chasing lifestyle over wealth because confused people stay in debt. Distracted people don't vote with their dollars, but not you. You're still here. That means you're awake. You don't need to be perfect, just present, just willing. The real rebellion isn't crypto, it's not gold, it's not prepping, it's knowing exactly where your money goes. And at the end of the day, some conspiracies may be true, but even if they are, you still have a choice. Learn, act, build, because no matter who runs the system, you run your life. Hit like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments. Which theory made you think, and what are you doing to take back control? If this video gave you chills or clarity, hit that like button. Drop a comment below. What's one financial move you're making this week? And don't forget to subscribe.